Hey, everybody, just want to say we appreciate you coming back for another episode. This week, we're starting something a little new. We're going to start trying to do these intros. This week, we have Ryan Nordstrom from Big River Ammunition on as our guest. It was a pretty awesome interview. Really enjoyed getting to talk to him. Blake's going to kind of break down real quick what it is that you have to look forward in this episode.
Hey guys, man. Like Troy said, we had a really good interview the other night. We got to talk to him. Kind of went over ammunition. Basically, went over his how he's loading everything and in and out of his loads. Also went over a lot of his hunting time of hunting in Wisconsin and how that is and how much he enjoys that. Got to talk about his dog Ruff that he hunts with and all the great things that he has with that. Like Troy said, this is probably one y'all want to listen to. He's a small town guy, trying to start it off, not trying to get super big, what it seems like right now, but his passion's in the reloading and the ammo, making sure you get the right shot every time, which I know we struggle with that as waterfowlers sometimes, not getting the right pattern or the right velocity, but he seems like he's really putting the time and effort in to get this done.
Yeah, one thing I really thought was interesting was he does go over how it is getting started into loading your own ammo, all the stuff he went through with LLC, ATF, all that. So it's pretty interesting listen on that. He covers quite a bit of ground. He really knows his stuff, and he's done a lot of testing. So you're definitely going to want to listen to this one and check him out. So a few announcements that we have. This is our last episode before Christmas. So I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and hope everyone has safe travels, gets some good time with some family. Overall, just has a great holiday, remembering what Christmas is about. Also, don't know when it'll air, but coming up this week will be guest appearing on Migration Waterfowl. Brian's going to have us on there and interview us. So looking forward to that. That ought to be a great episode. If y'all haven't checked out Brian over at Migration Waterfowl, make sure you give him a follow and a like. He does a great show. He's been doing this for about a year and a half, 2 hours. If y'all didn't catch the episode where we had him on the show. Also, our next episode, we're going to have Tyler Sewer back on. And he's got some great guys and gals that are supposed to be with him, so that ought to be a fun, interesting interview. Kind of check in with Tyler and see how his season's been going since we've last saw him and last talked to him. And then don't know for sure who all yet is going to be on there, but he's going to have a couple people that he's hunting with and on his crew on there as well. So that ought to be a really, really good time, really good episode. So we're looking forward to that. Make sure and give us a like, a follow, subscribe, whatnot on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. We do have YouTube up and running with all video episodes. So if you want to see the video format, they are all being uploaded on there. We've got one little short video. As we work on stuff, we're still kind of getting into the editing and figuring out our flow of things. So we will have some stuff rolling out there, but go ahead and make sure you go on there and subscribe. That stuff really helps us out, kind of lets us know where everyone's at. Leave us a comment, send me an email, or hit one of us up on the inboxes. If you have a suggestion or someone you think we should reach out to, man, we want to hear back from y'all. See what y'all think about the show. Like I said, that YouTube is slowly rolling out, but we are rolling stuff out every week. If you want to go ahead and go subscribe over there, that would help us out a lot. Kind of gets us moving in the right direction with that. And as we go forward and get some videos done of our hunts and everything, we're going to be uploading on there primarily. So again, thank y'all for joining back with us again, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Winging It Waterfowl. I'm your host, Troy Miller. With me, as always, is my main man, Blake.
Hi, everybody.
And then tonight, we have special guest Ryan Nordstrom with Big River Ammunition.
What's up, guys?
Thank you for coming on tonight. We appreciate you coming on, Ryan.
Thank you.
Why don't we start out with you telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, like you said, my name is Ryan Nordstrom. I am from the western side of Wisconsin. I grew up hunting out here since I was a kid. A bunch of my buddies hunt. Um, After high school, I spent a little bit of time working, and then I had the opportunity to move to Maui. So I was living in Hawaii for quite a while, and then came back here and picked up hunting again, and got into reloading some shells, and then just took off from there.
So you started out with doing your own hand loading just for yourself?
Yeah, I always was kind of interested in the process, and my dad used to load shells when I was younger, and I'd always hear him loading lead shells in the spare room, and hear him banging away on the old Mech Junior single stage machine. You can hear just pounding away. So I had that for a little while, and I did a little bit with it, and then I got away from it for a few years, and then for waterfowling, I wanted to try to load my own steel. So then I got into that, and my buddy started shooting it. Um, and then, more and more people started asking about it. And then I thought, I really should make this legal and look into going into it. So here we are.
Awesome. Yeah, we had you'd sent us the pattern packs. I have not had the chance to shoot it yet. I've gone out twice to the ranch to try it, and both times it has been just nasty weather that I was like, I can't get out here and try it.
We can make more. Just send them.
Yeah, Blake got it out the other day, and he said he's real happy with it.
Yeah, I shot it the other day. I shot it with a Rite,
Yep.
with a Kicks modified choke. I got the video. That's what I've been doing today when I have the chance of editing what I could, but we'll get that video out to everybody.
Nice. Yeah, my buddy shoots a Rite with those, and he's pretty happy with it. You had the 12 gauge ounce and a quarter, right? The steel loads. Is that what I sent?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Number 3s, if I remember. I think
I had number 4s.
Oh, number 4s. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, I meant to grab them, and they're out in my case. I didn't bring them in tonight. So, you said you started hunting with buddies. Is that how you got started, or was this a family thing?
Yeah, my dad
kind
used
of
to
walk
hunt.
us.
Yeah, so when I was growing up, it was duck hunting was always a thing. My dad and my uncles would always go out, and I'd go to school in the morning, and I'd come home, and I'd always see shotguns laid out on the table, and there was ducks in the yard when I come home, and my dad would be out there cleaning them, and I planted the seed, and then my dad got out of it when they banned lead. So he just kind of had enough at that point, because the steel back then was pretty bad. So he got out of it, and then I got into it shortly after that, just going with my buddies, because my parents lived half a block away from the boat landing on a little backwater of the Mississippi. So we would just drop the boat basically right behind the house and go out and hunt ducks. Just me and a couple buddies when we were in school. Right after school, we'd go out and chase them. Now we just moved on to, little bigger and better things. Same buddies, though. Still going out chasing them.
That's awesome. My uncle, he lived in Wisconsin for a while. I have family that lives up there.
Oh, okay.
And that's what he said one of his favorite things to do was they go ice fish and they go shoot geese and ducks.
Oh, yeah. We don't get a ton of geese here. There's a few fields near me that get them, but even being on the river, we don't get a ton of them where I'm at. But they're in the fields on either side of the river.
So up there in your neck of the woods, on your portion of the river that you kind of hunt, is it quite a bit of hunters up there in that area, or is it?
Yeah, man.
Further away from you?
I'll say I'm on the Upper Mississippi Wildlife Refuge, and if anyone knows anything about that, it's more hunters than birds. So there's a lot of competition, but it's a good time. The Mississippi has a lot of backwaters, so you can, if you put in the time, you can get away from people, but there's a lot of hunters, lots of pressure.
Do you get a lot of pressure from out of state?
Yeah. There's a couple areas where I'd say it's probably 40 to 50% out of staters. There was last year, the the middle of November, we had a big cold front come through, and I was sitting at work, and I thought, man, I'm gonna take a half a day and grab my boat and my dog, and I'm gonna head out. And hooked the boat up, dropped it in the water, and I went around, and I couldn't find a place to hunt. There was a boat or somebody tucked behind every piece of grass or piece of rice out there, and I honestly couldn't find a place to hunt. So I put my boat back on the trailer and I went back to work.
Oh
But
wow.
there's there's some other places now. We've been venturing out and getting a little bit further out of town, and we can find some spots now.
Do y'all when you venture out, do y'all put quite a bit of time in on the boat, or do y'all do more on the road and get to a different launch?
Um, Both. A lot of onyx. There's a lot of little refuges around on the Mississippi where I'm at. It's you got Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. So you have to look and see which part of the river, what side of the which state you're going to be hunting in. So we'll look on onyx, we'll find an area, and then we'll drop the boats in and go scout it, see what it looks like, and then if it looks good, we'll go sit there.
Okay. Do y'all have to deal with a lot of commercial traffic on the river up there? Does that affect y'all any?
Early parts of the season, it's funny. You'll be sitting there hunting, and you'll see a barge just cruising up the river. Um, we'll get a lot of bass fishermen. There was a bass tournament like mid early to mid November, and we're out there hunting, and we'll have guys casting in our decoys for the bass tournaments.
So, does
Wow.
it get pretty hairy between hunters and fishermen up there, or does everyone get along pretty well?
It's, I mean, when you're talking to your buddies, you're kind of cursing them out, but it's never really any confrontations or anything like that around here. It's not like what I hear about in Arkansas. Everyone's usually pretty respectful.
Yeah, I deal with some fishermen from time to time, but most of them they pretty well stay away from where we hunt at. The I've actually had more problems with boats and guys out partying and skiing and stuff
Yeah,
like that while I'm out on the kayak doing like I run jugs out at one area every now and then. And
sure.
it's been a couple years ago. I had some high school or college kids come out and they decided they wanted to see if they could flip me and started doing donuts around me.
God.
That did not end well. Some
Yeah,
choice words there.
I
It was
couldn't
very
imagine. Like, I don't know why someone would even want to go out fishing when you know there's a dozen hunters all around you. Like that just doesn't seem like a good time to me.
yeah, like I said, when I'm hunting, I've never had a problem with them in my area. I've never had any problems with them. I'll see them out there, but they generally keep a pretty good distance away
No.
because
Yeah,
they
we
know that's kind of the area that a lot of people stick to with hunting.
we get them floating right through our decoys, right in front of us.
Yeah, I know. I know down south when Blake was still living in East Texas, we ran into fishermen a couple times down there, but we had pretty good experiences both times that I ran into them with him down there.
Yeah, most of them are just trolling. They come through and then they're gone. But you know when they're sitting out front, you might as well just take a seat
Yeah.
and grab something to eat and wait for them to get through.
Yeah, they saved me from swimming.
Hmm.
So I threw out decoys. This is when we very first started hunting. I threw out decoys, and it was dark. We hadn't been out there really. We walked in the day before and looked, but we didn't take waders out and check water levels or anything like that. And I threw out decoys, and they were there when I threw them out. And sun came up, and Blake's like, "Did you not put decoys out over here?" I was like, "I did.
Oh
Don't know where
no.
they are now." They were quite a ways out there, and it was cold. I mean, it's down there. It's not freezing cold, but it was still a lot colder than I want it to be. And I did
Hmm.
some swimming, and
Yeah, we've
luckily
all had
those
decoys floating
fishermen
away.
came and saved us.
Nice.
So
Yeah, we don't really have very much fisherman problems. It's more other hunters and airboat people.
Nice. Yeah, we have a handful of airboats. Most of the airboats that I see are trappers later in the season. They're out
Uh-huh.
running their trap lines. That's about it for airboats here.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just so mud flats around here that most people have air. There's not a lot, but they have airboats, and it's loud, and half the time
Oh
they
yeah.
don't pay attention.
Hmm.
so outside of ducks up there, did you grow up doing any deer hunting, turkey, or any other upland hunting or anything along those lines?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do a lot of turkey hunting. I used to be really heavy into bow hunting. Um, but you just slowly started losing permission on farms, and it was easier to get out deer or duck hunting because we got Mississippi right here, so you could always get out there. You never had to fight for getting on a farm to put some tree stands out. It was always just easier getting ducks. Yeah, I used to do a lot of bow hunting. Went on a trip to South Dakota for antelope hunting, and then after that, just kind of got burned out on it a little bit. And my dad used to go. I used to take him quite a bit. I could take him out on the four wheeler and drop him in a ground blind with his crossbow, and then I'd go walk off and go sit in my tree for a while. And then when he lost interest in it, then I kind of did too. That was half the fun was going out with my dad.
Yeah, I understand that. The has it being public, has it changed quite a bit since you first started hunting in that area? Seeing changes in like
Um,
hunter levels or bird levels, or even just the topography, I guess.
there's the topography is all pretty much the same. Every year is a little bit different. Like this year, the water was super, super low, and we didn't have nearly as much rice as we used to have. So I don't know if they just flew over us or they just went to different areas. But there's a lot more hunters now than there used to be. I think that's the biggest thing. I don't know if it seemed like ever since COVID, we've just the amount of pressure has been crazy. It's just double the amount of hunters. And I think we've been getting a lot of YouTubers out in our area the past couple of years. And I think that's kind of brought some people out in our way too.
Okay.
So is that wild rice that's growing, or
Yeah. Yeah. A
Okay.
lot of wild rice. There's some smart grass out or smart weed out there too, but we have a lot of wild rice. I don't remember how long ago. It was a handful of years ago now, but the DNR planted some out there and then it took off. And that was great. There was like early season, we'd take our boats and we could just drive right into the rice and find some openings in there and have great hunts. But this year, those big rice fields that we had were gone. There was nothing there.
huh?
Yeah, we had some pretty high water, and I think the high water in the spring and halfway through the summer, it just didn't allow it to take root and grow.
Yeah.
Are y'all considered in a drought, or is it just the way the river levels are?
It was we've had like 3 or 4 years where the water's just been low. We haven't been getting any rain. It's been super hot. So yeah, it's been pretty big drought. And then 2 years ago, we actually like half the summer we were in like flood stage the whole time. And then this year we were in flood stage earlier in the year, and then the rain stopped and the water just dropped. I think we're right around six, or the Mississippi's at about 6 foot, 6.5 all through duck season, and we were sitting at like 4.9, 4.10 most of the year. So a lot of the spots that normally pull your boat up on the water there was either no water in there at all, or it was pulled back so far there was nowhere to even to hide your boat.
Do you do any hunting from your boat, or what's your hunting style that you kind of stick to up there?
Um, normally, I've got an Excel, so we just throw a beaver tail blind on that, and we'll crash it into some weeds and flip the top over it. Just hunt out of the boat. This year, it's been a lot more hunting offshore. We've had to park the boat a couple hundred yards away and then walk in and throw decoys out and build a blind on shore somewhere. But yeah, normally I hunt out of the boat, like I'd say 9 times out of 10.
So, like, did you build your boat, or did like your boat blind, or is it just one of
Ye-
those like you bought for the XLs?
So I had a custom made one I ran it for about 4 years. It was actually really cool. It was aluminum tubing that we had welded. So I had a wall on one side and then one behind you. And then we took, um, it's almost like, it was like PVC sheeting. And I ran that across, and then we put almost like a plastic chicken wire on that. And then we would put, um, raffia grass all over it. And
Okay.
that thing would disappear in the weeds, but it was
Huh.
so dang heavy. I think the entire blind was probably 200 pounds. So it was too big. And then my dog had a hard time getting in and out of it. So I sold that. And then now I'm using a beaver tail blind. It's one of the ones you just flip right over
Hmm.
top when you get to where you're going. and that's got a door that I cut out of it for the dog, so he can just jump right in and out of it without having to flip the blind over.
Yeah,
But
me and Troy are about to probably buy some of their sneak boats, the little beaver tails. We got a buddy that
oh
runs
yeah,
them down here, and we went to Nebraska and we got tired of. We wish we would have had them 'cause we were walking 700 yards and knee deep marsh
yeah,
and ice and all that. We were like, all right, next year we're gonna buy something. Even a kayak will be better than what we had
yeah.
to walk through.
Those those beaver tail blinds are nice, but man, they're just it doesn't matter what you do, they just look like a big square box. And we need we always say when we hide it, we need to have layers of rice or grass in front of us. You have to have several layers of it, otherwise you're gonna get busted every time.
So tell us a little bit about your dog. How long have you had a dog? Is this your first one or?
Oh yeah, rough. It's actually it's like on the living room right now. Yeah, my dog Ruff. He's 4 years old. He's an American Lab. I got him from Wild Acre Kennels. They are in Minnesota. I think Le Center or Le Sewer, Le Center. Um, so they do breeding and training. So I went out there and I talked to Ray Lynn and Andrew. Andrew's a trainer. Ray Lynn does a lot of the breeding, and I talked to her and told her what I was looking for. I wanted a dog that would, jump in the water when it's cold and go get my ducks, and with someone that would, or a dog that would just chill and hang out when we're not hunting. So she waited and she found a litter, or she had a litter of puppies, and picked out the one that she thought would be a good fit for me. And then I took him back to them for training. So he was there for their introduction to birds and gunfire. So they basically gun broke him and got him going on live birds. And then he went back again for their intermediate program where they actually did the force fetch and return to hand and all that good stuff. And then I've been working on the more advanced stuff with him, just reading things online and trying to figure it out, trying to teach him the hand signals and stuff. But he's a good dog. He gets the ducks for me. He's not going to go win any titles or get any ribbons, but he'll go get my ducks.
That's all that really matters.
Yeah, he's a good dog. He's my best friend.
And what kind of dog is he? Is he?
He's a black lab, American.
Black. Okay.
Yep. You guys got dogs?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Good. Yeah, I won't even go hunting without a dog anymore.
I got half a dog compared to most people. She's, I knew she was a little bit on the smaller side, but until we got up there to Nebraska and saw all of them together, I did not realize how much smaller she was. Cause
Yeah.
I mean, she's sitting at like 50, 60 pounds, but she's just,
Yeah,
I don't know, she's just tiny compared to Wiley, his dog, and then Roscoe's ginormous dog.
That's what my dog is. I told Ray Lynn I wanted a smaller dog because I hunt 90% out of my boat, so I wanted a smaller dog that wouldn't jump around and knock me out of the boat or take up half the boat just sitting in there. So my lab, I think he's 62 pounds. He's just a little guy, but man, he's got a motor. He goes hard.
Yeah, that's about what Wiley is. I think, well, after Nebraska, I think I had him at 72 when we were there, but I mean, we've been hunting hard and stuff too.
I thought he was at 90 pounds.
No, no, he's in the 70s.
My brother's got
just because of this hunting season. We've been hunting hard, but I didn't want that. I did not want a huge lab. I wanted a lab that I could put in the boat and then I could put on my shoulder and carry back and forth from the blind to my shoulder and not have to worry about him being too heavy. So I mean,
just trying to hide him,
Exactly.
My brother's got a yellow lab. He's English. I think that's what he is. 120 pounds. His name's Fuzz. He's the same height as my dog. He's built like a barrel. Yeah, man, he's huge.
Yeah, mine. I don't know exactly how much she weighs. I haven't weighed her in a long time, but after she slimmed down and kind of put on some muscle, it's hard to tell. But if she was any bigger, it'd be a little bit more difficult because I kayak hunt, and so she rides in between my legs in front of me in my kayak, and so she's perfect size for that. Anything bigger than that, and I'm getting a little off balance. It's already a little sketchy sometimes when she gets distracted.
I couldn't fit in a kayak. I'm too big. I'm 6'7", like 285. Kayak would be a struggle for me.
I'm a schmedium guy, so it works out for me. If I got too big of a dog, then we might start going overweight because I carry a lot of stuff. I use my jet sled as like a boat trailer behind me. So
Yeah, my XL is almost like a kayak for me. Just
So what drove you to start making your own ammo?
yeah, I was making it for my buddies and and I always have fun. During the off season, like I almost look forward to that more in a lot of the parts of duck hunting. I wanted to develop my own loads and get them tested and compare them to the big factory stuff. And then um, my buddies started shooting them, and they're like, "Hey, man, can I buy some of these from you?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the regulations and rules are on that. I'm like, you can have them, but I'm going to sell these things. I gotta figure this out and do it the right way. So looked into it. Everybody thought it was crazy. They said, "There's no way you're going to start an ammunition company." But I looked into it and I figured out the steps and got an FFL and got an LLC going and slowly took off. It took probably a year just to get it going from when I actually started signing papers and sending them off to actually selling my first box of shells.
how long have you been doing actual Big River now?
This is my first year. It went live. So I could have had it going at the end of last year, but with the election, I wasn't sure if I wanted to start selling ammo. I wasn't sure if the other side won the election, how that was going to go for guns and ammo. So I waited, and then once Trump got in office, I thought it'd probably be okay to launch it and get it going. So, but yeah, that started last January.
Was it pretty rigorous process getting everything kosher and legal?
It was a lot of waiting. So the FFL was probably one of the longest parts. You fill it out, you fill all the forms out, and then you send them in, and then you get an ATF agent to call, and then they set up a time with you, and then they come out and have um, they have an interview with you and go over all the stuff you can do, can't do, and then they'll give you the yes, you're good to go, or no, you got to do something else, and then once you get that, then you got to wait again for them to sell or to put your paperwork in, and then once you actually get your license, then you can start selling. But
Was
and then I couldn't apply for, I couldn't put my LLC information in my articles of, I forget what it's called now at this point, but I couldn't apply for all that stuff until I had my FFL because they needed all that information. So it's just step by step by step by step.
yes, sir. Was there quite a bit of was there any kind of stipulations for like facility wise for you to be able to do this that you had to change up?
Yeah, I don't have to change anything, but there was I had to look into the zoning requirements for it, and then I had to reach out to our city zoning office and check to make sure that it was okay to run this out of my house. And there was some rules that they had to tell me about, and I had to get it a signed copy from the zoning office to give to my ATF agent saying that yes, it is okay to run this out of my house.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was like any kind of, I guess, infrastructure or anything like that that you kind of had to put in place being out of home or anything like that.
No, that's one of the weird things was they wanted proof of like air conditioning and AC and the plumbing and everything was like up to code before they would sign off on any of it. So I basically just gave them a copy of my what was it called, the when I bought the house, the
Your inspection.
Yeah, I just basically gave them a copy of my inspection and said, "This is within 2 years. Is this okay?" And it worked.
That's interesting. I never would have expected that.
Me either. It's been the amount of stuff that comes up is just one thing after another. But you work through it and keep going.
Now with you doing this out of home, are you What's your machinery kind of look like? Is there any kind of automation? I know your stuff is hand loaded, is what you're shooting for, but have you upgraded or kind of sticking with the same stuff that you
Yeah.
started with at this point?
So I still have all the same stuff for my waterfall shells, the Big Duck Energy line. That stuff I have. Um, it's a progressive machine where each handle pull kicks out a completed shell. So I can run through. I can do probably a case of 250. I can do that in about 40 minutes. So that goes pretty quick. When I do turkey shells, or if anyone has a custom order that they want something special, I've got it's called a smart box. It's a single stage machine. Doesn't drop any powder. It doesn't drop any shot. I do those. I weigh them all out by hand, and then I can crimp. And then there's a tool on there called a rebasatore. It puts kind of the edge around it, so you get a nice smooth crimp around the outside. There's that, and then there's a final rotating crimp station on it. So I use that one for the turkey shells because I want those to look perfect, because those things are so expensive with TSS. So I do those on there, and I do custom orders. And then I still have my Mech Juniors. I have those in 12 gauge, 20 gauge, 28 gauge. And those I just do for when I'm loading my own trap loads. Sometimes I want to go back and just reload some stuff to go shoot some trap with my nephews. I'll use those. So I had a bunch of them down there.
Yeah. So,
But yeah,
with what all gauges are you offering for sale, and kind of walk us through what your lineup looks like currently?
so right now I'm doing 12 gauge. I was doing those in 3s, 4s, and 5s, and those it's all zinc plated steel, 2 3/4 inch in 1/8 ounce, and 3 inch in 1 1/4 ounce. I keep everything at 1,300 feet per second. I think anything more than that, your patterns start to blow out. So everything runs at 1,300. And then 20 gauge, I have a full ounce in 3s, 4s, and 5s. And then just this past week, I released number two shot for the 12 gauge. So that's actually I actually just put that on there. I think Friday.
I
I
just
loaded it on.
saw you posted it on there here recently in the last
Yeah,
week or so.
yeah. So right before I put that video up, I put it on the website, and I was like, okay, cool, it's up and running. I'm go to bed. Then I woke up and I had 4 orders for it already, and I'm like, whoa, like that was fast. And I looked at the orders. I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't right. I had them on there at $9.99 a box, and people took advantage.
Oh man.
Oh
So
man.
I still shipped them out. I shipped them out. They should be getting them this week, but I corrected the issue.
Well, I'm glad you caught it as early as you
Yeah.
did. Not early enough, but glad you caught it when you did.
Yeah, so
So,
those are on there now. And then we got the turkey shells. I got 12 gauge and 20 gauge in turkey. Those are the 12 gauge are 2 ounces of TSS. I'm gonna have those in 9s, 7s, and 6s. And the 20 gauge is 1 5/8 ounces of the
oh
same
wow,
shot sizes.
you got quite the selection going on for being in your first
Yeah.
year.
Oh yeah.
So you were talking about the 1,300 feet per second. Did
Mhm.
I'm sure you've heard Jimmy Muller, the craze with that and everything, and we've all, I'm sure most everyone that listens to any podcast has heard
Oh
it
yeah.
at some point. Were you onto kind of getting into that direction, or how did you come to that, figuring out your
I
slower FPSs?
Yeah, I kind of stumbled into it. There was a powder that we all used to use called steel powder, and that was like the holy grail of powder for loading non-toxic shot. You could, when you wanted to push shells 1,500 plus, you would use steel powder. But the company that made it, called Alliant, they switched over to military sales only. So they stopped producing for consumers. So that powder went away. So then I just switched over like everybody else and started using readily available powders. And then the stuff that I was loading was coming out, 1250 to 1350, 1325. And I was like, these things are patterning way better. And then I started shooting them into ballistics gel, and it was pretty close to the same as what I was shooting at 1500. So then I just did some more testing and I found that 1300 for what I load, it seems to pattern the best and still get good penetration.
What kind of distances are you kind of sticking to for that 1300 in most of your steel rounds?
So I patterned all my 12 gauge at 40 yards, um, and then 20 gauge at 30 yards. I personally don't shoot anything beyond like 30, 35 yards. So I like them feet down in the decoys, but I've got videos of people that shoot them that are shooting them out to 42, 45 yards. They're just stoning them. But I like them close. I'm kind of
Yeah.
picky. My buddies give me a hard time about it.
What I guess on the pattern size, what chokes do you recommend? Not I guess not brand wise, but like what what chokes do you recommend
I
people
tell
use with
people,
them?
yeah, shoot what you got. Um, start with your factory chokes. Modified is always going to be a great starting point. I I use Muller. I've got that in my 20 gauge. I've got the passing choke in my 20 gauge. That thing is lights out with that 1 ounce of steel in the fours. It's unbelievable. And then in my 12 gauge, I've got pattern masters, and
Okay.
those seem to beat the Mullers.
Yeah. What kind of gun are you running them out of mostly?
I like Benelli's. My 12 gauge is my old faithful, the Super Black Eagle 2. That thing's got a lot of shells through it. And then my 20 gauge is the Super Black Eagle 3, and my 28 gauge is a Super Black Eagle 3. And that's just mostly what I shoot. Um, Eventually, I'm going to start loading shells for the 28 gauge and putting them out there. I was doing bismuth for it, and I was planning on putting those out, but we can't get bismuth now with everything that's going on in the world. So that got put to the side, and
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
that
shooting what I got left, and that's it.
were you when you kind of started this, were you planning on moving in the business direction or were you planning on staying with
Yep.
steel?
I had no plans of running steel at all.
Yeah.
And then
That got crazy
it's
quick, didn't it?
as soon as I got everything going, I got everything approved and I'm getting up and running, it just got cut off. And I was like, well, what do I do now? So I just started redeveloping loads and going back to the stuff that I was shooting a couple of years ago and tweaked those to make them work with powders that were available. And I mean, they work great, but bismuth is just denser, plain and simple.
So getting into components, what was your component selection like? Did you go with, I guess, kind of how did you come through your component selection process of like, your holes, your
Hmm.
primers, your wads? Walk us through kind of how that worked out. Was it pretty easy or was it a pretty lengthy process?
That's pretty easy when it comes like the small shell manufacturers like me and the other guys out there. We use a shell called Cheddite. It's a European company. They produce um, pre-primed hull, and we can buy them by the case. And if you go to the reloading stores, that's what they sell. I mean, you can still get the Federals and the Winchesters and um, maybe Rios on there, but Cheddites are primarily what we use. And then um, the wads, um, I was using some there. It was a CSD wad, and then I was using some TPS wads. Um, I look at when I'm loading them. When I first develop a load, I load everything into clear hulls because I want to see the stack height and I want to see if there's any powder migration coming out on the outside of the hull or on the outside of the wad going up the hull. Um, and the ones that I settled with and went, I had no powder migration. Some of the other ones, there was a lot of it, and then you'd fire the shell and you get a bunch of dirty loads and you get unburned powder in the chambers and down the barrels and stuff. So yeah, that's how I develop my load everything into clear hulls and shoot them and see what they look like.
Now, on your steel shot, how do you source that?
Um, that all comes from just our regular reloading stores. There's one in the Twin Cities called Ballistic Products, and there's one in South Dakota called Precision Reloading. That's, as of right now, the only thing I can do is get them in 10-pound bags, and I buy a lot. I'll usually buy a few 100 pounds at a time, and then the poor FedEx guy has to walk them all up to my door bag by bag. I've got doorbell cameras, and I can hear him complaining the whole time when he's carrying these things.
Oh. Have you noticed any difficulty, or have you had any difficulty with sourcing any of your components, like steel, since bismuth went crazy?
There's the zinc plated steel right now is getting a little bit tougher to find in fours. So I try to buy enough of it to get me through for a while. But right now, if I go to the retailers where I normally buy everything from, zinc plated fours are out of stock. I think everything else is pretty much in stock that I can get, I don't know, pretty easily. But when you have dealer accounts with them, when you tell them what you want, and then when they know something's coming in, they'll just give you a call or shoot you an email and say, hey, I want 500 pounds of this, and they'll get you that before it goes to regular consumer sales.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't guess I've ever looked into it. I mean, just kind of one of those deals been standard with steel for the most part. What is the reason for zinc plating the steel shot?
Technically, they say that it gives better patterns, and they say that you'll get slightly better penetration with it because it gives it a little lubricity.
Okay.
Maybe not. I think that it looks better. It's got a nice coating on it. They look nicer, but I don't know if it actually makes a difference or not. So I'm gonna say yes.
I just always assumed it was kind of a corrosion, rust proof kind of thing. I wasn't sure. I mean, I know steel,
yeah,
not supposed to, but
there's different platings too. I think there's a copper plating out there, and there's some other stuff. But yeah, the zinc, I just think that it looks nicer. You don't see all the pitting and the like busted stuff that you see in like I don't know, if you cut one of the large manufacturer shells open, you'll see some kind of crappy shot. So the zinc plated stuff looks nicer.
does it give you? Do you notice any consistency with your pellet counts going with that versus, or have you tried non?
One thing I've noticed is, so when I get the stuff from one retailer to another, I noticed that a 4 from one and a 4 from the other store, they're different. Not a lot. Like in an ounce and a quarter, there'll be maybe like 5 or 6 pellet difference in the total weight.
Okay.
So there's variance in that. So I try to get them all from one place because they're a little bit heavier.
Get your keep with your consistency.
Yep.
So how did you come with the box design? I love your box design.
The old spoonbill on there.
Yes, sir.
Man, I love my shovelers. So everyone always talks about their greenheads and their mallards, and spoonbill, that's the true greenhead. So I wanted something a little bit different. Everything on that box is got something, little something to me on there. It's got my favorite duck. It's got the American flag. It's got the Second Amendment on it. Every single box, I hand stamped the veteran suicide line on there under the cover. All that stuff's important to me. So yeah, I had someone design all that. I told her what I wanted. She killed it. She checked in. She said, "Is this what you're looking for?" And I said, "Yes, thank you."
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's probably my favorite box design for ammo I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change where I get them from because right now they're an actual corrugated box, so they're heavier. You can get them a little bit damp. They're not going to fall apart like some of the regular boxes you get, but man, they're expensive. So I'm gonna have to start looking into getting them probably just like a regular standard cardboard box.
So if you order on the website, you have them where you can order them with the boxes or without. Do you send a box, like one box with the whole in the package?
It depends. I try to send, you get, the way I box up those, the bulk pricing, we call it, So you buy a bulk case of 3-inch shells. You'll get the 250 shells in a plastic bag inside the box. And then if I have boxes, I'll try to throw, 1, 2, sometimes 3 in every case just to have them.
Yeah.
But it depends.
Yeah.
I try to, but if I don't have them, those boxes are expensive to have made, and they take forever to get them printed and shipped. So if I have them, I do, but if I don't, then I can't. I usually try to throw some stickers or decals in there instead.
Gotcha.
So right now is where are you seeing most of your sales and stuff coming from, or is it mostly social media, or is it word of mouth? How are you getting that out there right now?
All social media. Just getting Facebook posts. I got Max from Midwest Waterfowl Flyways. He posts a lot. He shot my shells all year, and he's awesome. He's a veteran. He's always doing shot cam videos and making posts. He runs that Facebook page. I think there's 40,000 members on there, so that usually does pretty well. Triple B Outdoors, Cody, he helps me a lot. He's shooting them, and he's helping get the word out for me too.
What over the next year or so, do you have any big plans or anything changing, or are you able to kind of keep up with the pace that you're running now? Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be. I got some upgrades I want to get for my press. There's some air systems I can get for it, so I don't have to sit there and pull the handle every time. I can run it off a air system and have a compressor in a different room, so I can just hit a button and have that go up and down, so I don't have to tear my hand up anymore. I'm looking at doing some lead trap loads, so I'll have those come out. I like trap shooting. I do it with my nephews quite a bit and my brother, so looking at getting something going for that, either like an ounce and an eighth, or maybe I might sneak in an ounce and a quarter for those two. We'll see. And then some upland loads will be coming out this summer too.
Now with those, are you going to be, does lead prefer that 1300 FPS, or do you have to tweak that a little bit to get a better performance out of them?
I'm going to run those at 1300 so far. That's what I'm testing them at. I want to see how they do. I want something that when we're shooting handicap and trap, I can get out there a little bit.
What kind of testing do you generally run on these when you're developing a load?
So the first thing I do is I'll look back at everything I've done in all the books, and I'll kind of get a starting point. So I'll get kind of a baseline, and then I'll say I'm going to drop 25 grains of a certain powder. So I'll do 25, and then I'll do 20 and like 28 or 30. And then I take all that and I load 6 of each shell. And then I'll send them to like precision reloading, and they've got a ballistic testing form. You fill this out with all of your load information on it, and then they shoot the shells out of their test barrel, and then they'll give you the pressure, the feet per second, and all the information on it, so you know if it's going to be safe, if it's within SAMI specs. And then once I get that, and if everything comes back safe, then I'll take them to the range. Couple of my guns, get some friends going, get my dad's guns. We'll go out there and I'll shoot them out of different guns, different chokes, see how they look. And if it looks good, then I'll load a few more of one and keep going. But if its patterns blow out and it just doesn't look good, then I move on to something different.
Now with each new round, load size and everything else, do you have to go through any kind of process to get that approved for sale, or once you have your license, they give you pretty well free reign to sell what you want as long as it meets standards?
They just let you sell it. I mean, I was really surprised. You don't have to show any documentation on it, nothing. It's crazy. Yeah,
I really figured like, hey, if I'm gonna do, I figured you'd have to have some kind of,
kind of like
send in for one shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, so on. I figured they'd make you go through a whole process for every one of them.
There's nothing. They just want to make sure that they're getting their money. that you're paying tax. Um,
Well, I
so
figured
like,
that part they had handled.
yeah, like this one, this is an ounce and an eighth. I just had sitting here. You don't even have to have any markings on it. You could sell just a
Just
hull,
blank
just a
hole.
black hull. You don't have to have any markings. You don't have to put anything that says what it is, what's in it, nothing.
Man, that's wild. I figured
That's
they,
crazy.
the way everything's regulated, I figured you'd have to go through a whole process for every
I
single variation of a load.
I double checked it after the when the ATF was here going over everything with me. I was like, are you sure? Like, I just that doesn't seem right, man. But he told me, he said, yeah, they don't have to have any markings or indication on them of what they are.
I
Now,
like
does
the part where you're doing the lead and the steel the same like the same speed, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what me and Troy, we when we first started really getting deep into duck hunting, we were trying to, you go to the range and you shoot these lead shots and go shoot your trap shooting and your sport shooting, where you're shooting this at these rounds at
11,
1250,
1200?
yeah, 13, depending on the
Yep.
round. And then you go in and you put these big manufacturer shells in there and you're shooting 15, 1400. Well, there ain't no reason for you to go practice all this if you're going to be shooting two different speeds, because
Exactly.
now you're trying to shoot like you shoot your clays, and then you're missing all these birds, or you're crippling birds and they're getting away. So that's what I've liked. Like, for people, when you said that, me and Troy, we've always talked about, man, we got to find something. We need to find rounds close to what we're shooting when we go shoot the skeet. That way we're not wasting our time and ammo and
Yeah.
money. And
That's when I shoot sporting clays, I want to shoot almost exactly like what my waterfowl shells are. And so that's kind of why I did that. My waterfowl loads are at 1300, so I figured why not pick these lead ones at 1300, and
And
my same with my upland, they're going to be 1300 too.
it seems like a common sense thing to me. I just don't know why it's taken so long to get to this point, you know? But
Yeah,
maybe
you would
there
think
might
so.
not be money in it. I don't know.
Everybody wants fast, faster the better.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was going to ask you with running, because industry wide, it seems like this is only smaller manufacturers like yourself, you know, that are doing
Mhm.
hand loads and small manufacturing that are running these slower speeds. And everything that I've seen so far, I run the Muller decoy choke. I haven't got my hands on a
Mhm.
passing yet, and I've been real happy with it. But I run an inertia driven gun on these gas driven guns. Are you seeing any kind of failure from running a slower speed at all?
I haven't. I got buddies that shoot SX4s and Frankies, and they haven't. They seem to cycle fine. I think I always tell people if a shell's going to cycle in a Benelli, it's going to cycle in anything.
Yeah,
And
I
they
just with these gas driven guns, I wasn't sure if slowing them down any was having any effect on them on cycling.
not that I've seen. They
I hadn't
still
heard
got
anything, but like I said, just never know.
yeah. They still we still have the pressure. What pressure is what's going to help with the cycling.
Mhm.
So we try to get the pressure up right around what the max is for SAMI pressure, and that's going to help with the cycling.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, like I said, I run an inertia driven gun, and I've not had any problems whatsoever with it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can run dove loads and trap loads, then I can run it out of. You know,
Right.
I figured I'd have no issue with these with the steel ammo.
The only time I ever see an issue is someone doesn't clean their gun. Just clean it up and everything cycles fine.
Gotcha. So if you move into getting this air powered system and stuff like that and kind of upgrading, does that going to change any of your quality that you foresee in any of that, or change any of your components that you use?
I don't think so. It's the same machine. It's just it removes the handle and it puts the air system on it. So it's all the same, and it's probably going to slow me down a little bit because I can run it pretty fast with my setup right now, and with the air system, I think it slows it down a little bit. Then you have to wait for the compressor to keep up. But this is just more of a saving my arm and my hand from getting tore up from loading thousands and thousands of these things.
I had an old neighbor. He's an older guy that lived next door to me years ago, and he did it out in his little shed in the back. And he was a big time like long distance shooter just for fun.
Hmm.
Didn't really hunt much or anything like that. He just really enjoyed long distance shooting and did some skeet and stuff. And he did all hand load on his stuff. And yeah, I never noticed it till summer came around and he was showing me around his shop. And that right arm was about twice the size of his left arm. He'd been doing it for
Yeah,
a long time. And I
it's
was like,
funny when
why don't you get something better? He's like, nah, this works.
this past October, I don't know how many shells I ran through that thing, and I was using athletic tape wrapping it around my hand, and they were just blistered, and there was like blood blisters and calluses everywhere. I'm like, I got to start taping my hand up. So I had my right hand was all taped up, and it was bad. I don't want to do that again this year.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. So how many rounds are you able to kind of put out on a regular basis?
So
What are you
when I
looking
sit
at?
down, yeah, when I sit down, if there's no distractions going, I can do a case in about 40 minutes, and then I usually run 2 or 3 cases at a time, and then I have the little printer. It's just a little machine. You drop the shell in there and you crank the handle, and it spins around and kicks out, and then it says Big River Ammunition and zinc plated steel. That slows me down because the ink, man, the ink that you put in that, it takes a minimum of 10 hours to dry. So
Wow.
you walk through my house in October, and my entire basement is lined with shells that are drying, and then you come upstairs and the kitchen counter's got shells across it, and the coffee table in the living room. There's shells drying everywhere. And they got big fans blowing on them trying to speed it up, but it takes a while for that stuff to cure.
That was gonna be one of my other questions, was if you bought the shells with your stamp on them or if you were doing it yourself.
Yeah, I do all that myself. It's a slow process, a messy process, but it works for now. I'm sure at some point I'll have to upgrade and get something a little bit better and a little bit faster, but for now it works.
Yeah. And you've got your website up and running on all that, so everything can
Oh
go
yeah.
through that website of yours and not having to be like a third party or anything like that.
Yep, it goes got the website where they can click on, whatever gauge they want and whatever shot size, and then it order it right there. It sends me an email, and I try to get everything shipped out the same day or the following day. As long as it's Monday through Friday, I can usually get them out the next day, and then you can see hoodies on there. I've got a few of these. I got the Big Duck Energy with there's the old Spoonie on there. He's smoking a shotgun shell. I got that, and then there's also one home defense load on there called "Don't Touch Me." So those are on there.
Do you have any problems or any restrictions with shipping to certain states, or are you able to ship all over?
Yeah, there's certain states I can't ship to. I think like New York and Massachusetts, some of those states, but I can't remember off the top of my head. The website says all of them, and it's
Okay, it does
pretty
label
obvious
that
on there that says like we can't ship to these states. Some of them like Indiana, I think it's Indiana or Illinois. I'm sorry, I forget. But you have to have they can purchase and I can ship them, but I have to have a copy of their some purchase license for ammunition, and I have to keep it on file, and that's too much. So I just have to I
Just have
can't
to-
sell to them.
Yeah.
I have to
Now,
draw
is
the line
that-
somewhere.
Are those restrictions on those states, is that just because of being ammo online sales in general, or because it doesn't meet
Yep.
their requirements or something along those lines?
Yeah, it's just city and state laws about shipping ammunition.
Okay. Now, with being ammunition, did you have to have, for your website, did you have to go through any more hoops for that, or was that a
Oh, yeah.
pretty straightforward process?
Yeah, there was when I first started it, I was like, all right, perfect. I got everything up and running and sales are coming in. And then I got an email from the website host that said, this is a high risk product. We're not going to allow you to sell or take payment through our system. So then I had to go get a third party payment processor and link them onto my website. So the website takes a cut, and then the payment processor takes a cut, and it all just,
Oh, man.
yeah,
Everyone's got to get their part.
everyone's got their hand out.
Well, I'm glad you got your website. That I know that's what a lot of people struggle with is getting websites and kind of getting getting it to where it's not coming through someone else and having to play telephone,
That's
you know.
that was man, the website was one of the hardest parts of the whole thing. Just
I've heard that from so many people for just
getting the
everything.
content, yeah, getting the content, getting it up and running, and oof, that took. I think the website alone took like 3 months for me before I actually made it live.
Yeah. So are you doing any kind of trade shows or shooting events that you advertise at or going to showcase any of this stuff?
I haven't yet. Actually, I take that back. I did one in Rochester, Minnesota last year called Coyote Creek. Coyote Creek is a outdoor, just an outdoor shop, a local one, and they had a vendor show. I did that one last year. I might do the Oshkosh one in Wisconsin this year. We'll see. Um, that's pretty much right when my sales start picking up too. So I don't know if I'm gonna go out there and be able to keep up with the website too. So we'll see. But I'd like to get out there. If I don't have a booth, I'm at least going to be going, just supporting other people that are going.
Now, as of right now, for what you're kind of projecting and what you've seen over the past year, is staying in home going to be viable, or are you going to have to look at like facility expansions or anything like that?
For now, I'm just going to keep everything here. I think my 5-year goal would be, a couple more years. I'd like to get a small shop somewhere where I can run it out of there and just get it out of my house. I like being able to separate it, just come home and get away from it. But for now, it's here. It lives with me.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, where all can everyone find you and kind of get a hold of you?
The Facebook page is the main one. Big River Ammunition, and then I just started an Instagram and I just started a TikTok. I'm trying to push those a little bit, but Facebook right now is the main area or the main spot, and the website. It's Big River Ammunition across everything.
Just kind of anything you can tell everyone that with just coming from years and years of bigger industries pushing the speed, what's kind of a breakdown of your selling point of this slower for anyone that doesn't know? Can you kind of give us that?
Yeah. So all the testing that I've done and the testing that I've seen, the slower speeds are going to give you a more consistent and a more uniform pattern. There's always going to be exceptions to the rule. Someone's always going to say that their 1500 will pattern better than anything else out there. But the majority of them, the slower shells are going to outperform the faster stuff. It's just as soon as that shot leaves the barrel, the faster something starts, the faster it slows down. So at 40 yards, you start at 1400, 1500. By the time it hits its target at 40 yards, the faster shell is still going to be going a little bit faster, but not much. They're going to be pretty close to the same because it just slows down so much faster. But at the same time, it's going to spread out faster. So those patterns blow out quicker than the slower shell does. The tests that I've done on penetration, it's not much difference. The faster shell is still going to penetrate a little bit deeper in the ballistics shell, but it's not much. I don't think it's going to make a difference. And to be honest, how much penetration do you need to kill a duck?
Yeah.
I mean, yep. I heard Jimmy talking about it once. He was talking about shooting a BB gun at squirrels and rabbits. Shooting a BB
700 feet per second.
Yeah, and that's one BB. If you can kill a rabbit at 700 feet per second with one BB, do you need 100 going 1500 feet per second? Just to kill a duck? I don't know.
Now, do you have you been able to do any testing and see? One thing I've been interested in, I haven't ever heard a definitive answer so much, but kind of the difference between your 1500s and your 1300s. Have you been able to see, is there quite a bit of, I know your pattern gets blown out widthwise and everything, but in a string, did the 1300s, because I think that's what I've heard, but I can't say for sure. Do you have more of a uniform ball, or is it kind of string out like the 1500s do?
I haven't seen anything, not enough that I can speak to on that. I don't know if you guys watch Joel Strickland. You ever see any of his stuff?
A little bit.
He has Did you see the video where he was showing shot string?
Yes,
I'm
I
trying to
did.
think. I think I did. I think he'd
Yeah,
sent
so
it to me.
he had a camera that I think was like 200,000 or 20,000 frames per second or frames per. I don't remember what it was. It's insane, but they could slow it down and he could see the shot string for shells. And I haven't watched it in quite a while, but I'm pretty sure the slower shells had a shorter shot string, but I don't know. I don't know enough about it to say either way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Blake, did you have anything else? I think we've
No,
been on
I
here
mean,
about an hour. Don't want to take up too much of everyone's time.
yeah,
That's
no,
not
he's
bad.
answered all my questions. I mean, oh, the only question I was thinking of earlier, the number 2 shot is,
Mm-hmm.
did you load that just because people were asking, or is that something you
Yep,
like?
that's
Popular
I'm a
demand.
yep, I'm a big fan. Like I was even shooting sixes this year. I like the smaller shot, sixes, fives. I got all the way up to fours at one point this year, but I had a lot of people asking for twos, so I went ahead and put them out there. But yeah, I like the smaller shot sizes personally.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot about some of the other guys that are shooting the slower ammo too. They've been shooting the
Mm-hmm.
5s and 6s, and me and Troy tried some 4s out this year from that, and I
I
wish I
shot
would have went.
sixes as well.
Yeah, and I wish I would have went smaller. So
Yeah, it's man, I like the idea of a whole lot of shot hitting at one time instead of
Yeah.
a couple.
Yes, sir. Well, is there anything new you want to let everyone know about or looking forward to? Anything along those
Um,
lines?
Turkey season. I'm ready for some turkeys. So been getting those shells ready. We got number 6 TSS. I honestly we have no business loading number 6 TSS for turkeys, but I got a good deal on it. So here we are. We're loading 2 ounces of sixes. I don't know what range people are going to be shooting those, but I've seen turkeys taken at 60 yards with nines. So I'm curious what the sixes would do.
wow.
Yeah, we'll
So
have to
those,
keep up with that, see how it goes.
yeah, those are. I just loaded those up the other day. I think I did 20 boxes of those, and then gonna have some 410 turkey loads coming out, 28 gauge turkey loads coming out, and yeah, I think that's it. We're just gonna be changing everything to turkeys and TSS.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on and answering all our questions. It's been great talking to you. You are Big River Ammunition everywhere, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll make sure and get back in touch with you and kind of keep up. I know your season's over, but I'm looking forward to, like I said, I hadn't had a chance
That's
to get out
it.
and shoot it yet, but I'm gonna get it on some paper and get some
Spring.
shots taken with it. And Blake will
Spring
have some.
snows. Yep, we'll be on some spring snows. So we got a little bit yet, but that's gonna be
Yeah.
it.
Oh, awesome. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on tonight and letting us know everything you got going on.
Cool. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. We all have a good night.
You too.